Oh, hey everyone, this is Max, and my vibraphone is a bit under construction at the moment, but let me tell you more about that. Wait a sec. I'm getting too old for this shit. So, can I build a vibraphone pickup system for less than 50 bucks? In this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know to build your own vibraphone pickup system. So if you, like me, don't have much money to spend on that, but you have some time to learn about soldering and stuff, you're in the exact right place and should watch this video till the very end. My friends at Adam's Percussion were so kind to send me this brand new alpha vibraphone for my upcoming project, and as I unfortunately broke my pinky finger, I think this week is like perfect for this DIY video. As you probably know from my videos, I'm recording the vibraphone and all my other instruments with different microphones usually, like this telephone mic from Trash Talk Audio, which I love for my lo-fi sounds. But I was always dreaming of having like a kind of pickup system for the vibraphone because I use pedals all the time, and when I play in clubs or small venues, it's always a problem with feedback in the microphones. Like everyone comes into my effect chain, and to get like a pure vibraphone sound with the effects is very hard. Actually, there are already one or two options where you can buy like your vibraphone pickup system and just use it, but they're quite expensive, and as I have the time now and know about soldering a bit, I thought maybe I could build like my custom-made own system for like under 100 bucks, maybe even under 50 bucks. Let's see. So small budget for my pickup system means like I have maybe some money left to buy some new pedals, and at the end I want to be able just to send my vibraphone sound through the effects chain of my pedals without any accidental noises like pedal sounds or other musicians in the room, so I have a clear effect sound of my vibraphone. Alright, so quick overview of all the things we need for this. I'm going to post a detailed list down below also. So this is our soldering equipment. We are going to solder all the pickups with this guy here. Next, obviously, we need the pickups. We need those little jack plugs here. And we need the jack sockets where the plugs go. So in total we have to build like 37 pickups in the end, because we have 37 plates on the vibraphone, and what we are going to do is like we connect a piece of cable to each pickup, and at the end of each cable there is this jack plug. So we have like 37 modules like this, like pickups with a cable and a jack. We could use this like with any other instrument, but we're going to attach the pickups with super glue at the vibraphone, so they're kind of fixed then. But this concept allows me to, if one pickup breaks, or you're touring and like something breaks, you can just exchange this tiny unit. You don't have to rebuild the whole thing. Next step is like we are going to build a rail that can be attached to the vibraphone, and this rail contains our tiny jack sockets here, and the sockets are ready to be connected with our jack plugs here, and all of the sockets are connected with one long cable that goes through the rail, and at the end of all of those pieces there will be a final socket where my output can be connected that goes straight into my effect pedals or like a kind of preamp, etc, etc. So enough talking, let's start building. So after the first tryouts I'm tending to get better, and I'm going to show you now how it works to build a thing like that, which is the pickup here, the cable and the jack plug. So first we need a piece of cable, of course, like in that length. Let's cut this. Put these tryouts away. So actually there is like a super fancy thing to cut off the surrounding of the cable, and I swear I will buy a thing like that if some of you might reach out, if I can build them a vibraphone pickup. But for now I'm just using this razor blade, which works also. It's a bit more complicated, but it's only 37 times. So it's working. So what we can see is like there is like a surrounding here at the cable. We have like a center part and a cable surrounding, and we need to separate them because the outer part here comes on the outer edge of the pickup and the inner part comes on the center plate of the pickup. Like carefully separating that so they don't touch each other, which might cause some accidental noise and humming. So, and another one to cut off here. Right. So you can see here like the inner part of the cable and the outer part. And now if we get one pickup, what we have to do now is like to solder the inner part of the cable, the inner part of the pickup, and the outer part of the cable on the outer part of the pickup, like that. I have this little helper here. There's also like possibility with some magnets and stuff, but I just can fix my pickup here, and then I'm fine starting to solder. So first we're going to attach some of this tin solder, like 2 dots on the pickup. So we have then the perfect place to attach the cable later without too much work, so it fits properly. Like a small dot here. Zack, and here. Same at the cable. I'm going to attach this to the second clamp here, which later helps me also like to connect them. I can easily adjust this like this. So later I see like I just have to put this one here and this one here, and it perfectly fits then. So very carefully. It's like also very tiny because the bigger the piezo on the plate, the more like effect on the sound, like a small dampening effect or something it might have. So really I'm not using very big pickups, I'm just using these to get the best sounding effect. So now it should work. Starting with the inner one here. All right, and now we're working on the other end, also cutting this off here. You can also cut both off at the beginning. I'm just working like in this order for the better explanation. Definitely have to buy like a tool for this next time. If I find a proper one that's not too expensive, I'm going also to link that down in the video description. All right, so separating the outer part of the cable. And opening up the inner part here as well. So what we need now is like our small jack plug here. This is what the inside of our jack looks like. And I'm now, the outer part of the cable, I'm now attaching this to the outer part of the jack. Like that. The inner part of the cable comes to this center plate here. if it fits. The older you get, the longer it takes. Really need a good eye. Okay, so that works. What I'm doing now is like to just hold it here and attach some tin solder at this place. So it's like really attached on the other side also. Who would have thought that it's also just a kind of practice with soldering? Getting better every time. So now we have this little thing here where I can attach the end of the cable. So not every time I'm pulling the jack, the tiny soldering parts get like, pulled too much. So they might break. I can fix this a bit here. So it's really not moving. And at the end, which makes it look like a normal jack, I'm just attaching this cover here. So we're not seeing the soldering places all the time and they're a bit safe. So that's it. What actually turned out super helpful is to check each pickup before you attach it to the vibraphone. I had to redo 3 ones that didn't work properly. Next step is to check the length of the vibraphone so you can cut your rails in the perfect length. Here you go, the final length of the rails, that's how it looks like before we attach the pickups and the sockets. Quickly marking the point where we have to drill a hole into the rail so we can attach the sockets properly. Alright, so both rails looking pretty good at the moment. Next step is, if we have a look at the inside, we see these silver pins here. And we need to connect all of the sockets, like all of these pins, with tiny parts of cable. So all the signals are that coming from the pickups that we plug into these sockets here, get chained in a row, and at the end of each rail we get like a final jack output of this rail, so we can put this into our amplifier and use pedals and stuff to amplify our vibraphone sound. Alright, so I cutted short parts of cable that are like slightly longer than the gap between the sockets. And next step would be that, same as we were building the pickups, I'm just like cutting off a little part at the end of each cable, and then I'm connecting them to the pins and soldering so they're like fixed and don't move if we close the rail again and attach it to the vibraphone. So this actually was the hardest part. Like, the socket has to be in the rail already, and you need to reach all these little pins with a cable and solder them properly so the audio signal works. So in the next step, I'm checking if every socket works really good, because if you once mounted the rails to the vibraphone, like screwing them into the wood, you really have a big problem if one of the sockets doesn't work properly. I was thinking a lot of how to check them, but a really smart way was that I sent audio signal in the first socket, like just any audio track from my computer to the first socket. And as they are all connected, I could just plug my headphones in each following socket. And if the audio signal came out strongly of each socket, I was sure like every socket will work, because it's basically just audio cable and audio signals coming through this. If it's a pickup from the vibraphone or if it's just music from the computer, it doesn't matter. Before attaching the pickups to the vibraphone, actually, I added some hot glue on top of them to make the points, the little dots where I soldered the cable on the pickup, even safer, because like they break really fast and then the signal doesn't work and stuff. So with this hot glue, it becomes a bit safer. Next important question is where exactly to place the pickups on the bottom side of the bars, because you don't want them to lose too much resonance. I painted a little blue dot here that is as close as possible to the chord of each bar, and then just use a drop of super glue to attach the pickups. Very exciting moment. And we're almost done if we just repeat this for 36 times. Next important YouTube video might be how I will be touring with this new instrument attachment, because I don't know how many of these pickups will maybe just fall apart the bar while I unpack or pack the vibraphone. So that's basically it. We just put some screws into our vibraphone and we close the channel and we're ready to go. All right, so big moment actually. The building process is finally over and I'm ready to check out my Vibes pickup system. I attached some additional sockets here to be able to connect the two rails and to attach them to my effect pedals. I already brought my favorite effect pedals here, so in a minute I'm going to check out whatever I can do with them. And to kind of amplify the signal of my piezo pickup system, I used this super cheap headphone amp from Behringer, so just to make the signal strong enough to get a good pedal sound. So last but not least, before I will finally show you how that thing sounds with my favorite pedals, is let's have a closer look on how cheap actually my DIY building process was compared to buying your customized vibraphone pickup system from the internet. By the way, you can find a detailed shopping list with links and stuff on my Patreon page, actually. We have like 37 piezos, jack plugs, jack sockets. I bought 10 meters of audio cable, but I didn't use all of them, actually. And 2 of those cable channels to put the sockets in. So my budget of 50 bucks might be a bit optimistic, but slightly over 100 bucks is still crazy cheap, and even better, I'm now able to repair it if it might break someday. Also, that electronic equipment becomes cheaper if you buy more, so if you have your vibraphone buddies joining you, you might even be under 100 bucks for this. Just in the middle of the session, that might be the perfect point to tell you there will be tons and tons of videos in the next weeks where I will try out my Vibes pickup system with different pedals, with audio plugins, etc, etc. So if you have any specific pedal that you think might fit well here, or you want me to try out any plugin or stuff, just write it in the comments or send me a DM on my social channels. It can't be enough information on that because I'm so curious to check all that stuff out. Well, so a big project comes to an end for me. I wanted to build this thing for so long, and you could probably see it in the thousands of dresses that I wore throughout the video. And like in the summer, my pinky finger was broken during the first film session of this. And now it's almost Christmas, so it took me really months to build that. I had so much to learn. I'm super happy to finally share all that stuff with you. And I couldn't thank more to my friends from Adams Percussion who just sent this vibraphone literally for this project to me. I turned like screws into the wood of their instrument. It still hurts my heart if I tell you that. But all of you Adams guys, mwah, I love you. Thank you so much for supporting my work. Let's go. Next project's coming soon.